In the last module, we talked about God's words through Jeremiah the prophet, encouraging the exiled Israelites to seek the welfare of their cities. In this module, we're going to explore the ideas of incarnation and parish. The challenge of seeking the welfare of our cities is that often the places we live are big. There are lots of people with lots of diverse needs. I live in Nelson, so God is calling me to seek the welfare of Nelson. But there are 39,000 people that live here. That's a lot of people. It's overwhelming. Where do I start? A helpful way to help me clarify this is the idea of the parish. This is a term Anglican folks will be familiar with. The Oxford Dictionary defines parish as a small administrative district, typically having its own church and a priest or pastor. A parish has boundaries, it has limits. In the old days, a minister would attempt to limit his or her focus to the people and places within his parish or her parish. It's not possible to get to know all the people in your place. It's not possible to share your faith with all the people in your city, but it is possible to get to know the people in your own neighborhood, in your own street. Maybe those are the people God is calling you to share your life with. Thinking like this helps save us from being overwhelmed and helps focus us on the people that we literally are surrounded by. The Message translation of John 1:14 says, "The Word became flesh and blood and moved into the neighborhood." If we want to follow the example of Jesus in our own neighborhoods, there is a lot we can learn from that phrase. When Jesus leaves heaven and comes to earth, he goes from being above us to being among us. Alan Briggs, in his book, Staying is the New Going, where I stole the title of this class, notes that John's point here is that Jesus became a local. He writes this: "Incarnational ministry moves us from above our places where we have no meaningful connection to among the people, within the community. Living incarnationally requires us not just to physically stay, but to remain patiently, locally, and personally engaged in the spaces and lives around us." Wow. Incarnation looks very different to mobility. Our mobility leads us to head across town to find the best coffee, the best schools, our favorite parks, and the churches that suit us best. But all that mobility means that so often we do not engage with our local people and places. It also means we don't know or care about the things our neighbors care about. Incarnation is a real challenge to the way we usually do things.